thanks for joining us on another interesting edition of Point Blank. I'm your anchor, Demola Alalade. On tonight's edition of the program, we're going to be looking at something, something very interesting that affects many of us during the course of our lives. Many of us have difficulties managing our finances, and we end up struggling to do most of the things we would have loved to do due to our financial situations. As we all know, we all are not financially okay. Some of us are not financially okay in life, and we kind of find it difficult to do some of these things that we would have loved to do. Some school of thoughts have also come up with the idea that not everything is not all about money all the time. And well, to discuss that issue tonight with me on the program, I've got two important guests. They are experts, they're financial experts, and they're going to be taking us through some of the ways, ways as we can deal with our financial situations. I have with me in the studio Haula Sanusi, and I also have with me in the studio King David, and obviously I have Bisoye Sayaolu is also here, who is my co-anchor, and my guest tonight will be trying to look at or giving us the strategies that we can use to overcome our financial difficulties. But just before we go into the program itself, I'm going to say a very big thank you to our sponsor, Broadway Restaurants in Deptford. If you're looking for Broadway Restaurants, specializes in African and Afro-Caribbean dishes. So if you're looking for somewhere to relax and have a good meal, Broadway Restaurants is where to go. Now, we're going into the program itself, program proper. And I'm going to be starting with King David. I think we should be starting with you. Would you be able to tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, what you do, and how you got into the financial sector?
Okay. My background is in geology. Actually, it's like funny. A lot of people ask me, "Oh, David, how did you find yourself in financial sector?" And my background is in geology. I have my master's degree in petroleum geology, and I used to work in an oil company on the rig. But it was a very miserable job. Most of the time I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and I just felt I can't continue to live like this.
You rather want to make some money.
Yeah, because I was making a lot of money, but the time wasn't just there. And that's one of the things we're going to be discussing this evening. Because financial freedom is not only about money; it's also about having the time to enjoy the money. Okay, so I set out, with my career, and I set out to, to find financial freedom, and I retired from my full-time job about 13, 14 years ago, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that later. Hola, how about yourself?
Well, my background is in beauty therapy and then accounting. But I just came to the realization that formal education does not really, it only helps you to survive, but it does not really make you financially free. So I was determined to find financial freedom, and that's when my journey in financial education really began. And since then I haven't looked back.
I don't need to hear anything from you because I know you are not a financial, you're not a finance person. So I mean, let's now come back. Let's come down to the topic of today. What exactly, in your own opinion, is financial freedom?
Okay. Wow, it's a broad topic, but I'll try to try and discharge it in a few lines. Financial freedom means different things to different people, but what we've been able to do is to do research and do a survey and actually ask a lot of people what financial freedom means to them. Some people feel, it's having enough money to buy a big house, a big car, go on big holidays, buy jewelry. And some say it's being able to afford to spend time with their family. Spend time with their wives, and their kids, and to be able to really spend time with the people they love. So we've been able to bring the two together, and financial freedom is having enough money to be able to spend time, quality time, doing the things you love doing.
I'm sure Bisoye has got one or two questions she might want to ask you. Before you go on, Bisoye, Hala, what's your own definition of financial freedom?
Well, I can also say financial freedom or wealth is also measured with time. Okay, and I'm going to explain. For instance, if you have, let's say, about £2,000, and that can last you for, let's say, about a month or two, after that, what happens? If you're not able to sustain yourself after 30 days or 40 days, you are not financially sound. But when you have enough money, as to whether you work, you don't work, the money still is coming, and then you are okay, then you are financially free.
Okay, then I think that will bring me to the question, what are the criteria required to gain financial freedom? Is it by working a 9-to-5 job or actually having a business of your own? What is the requirement to actually gain financial freedom?
Do you want to take that?
I'll take the first part and then you take the second part. The first roadmap to financial freedom is, number one, the individual. You have to be ready for a change, because if you're not ready for a change, nothing will happen. And then there has to be a change in mindset. If you want to be financially free, you have to be ready to quit being an employer or a self-employed person, to be a business owner or an investor. And that can only happen when you have a change in mindset.
So if I understand correctly, what you're saying is to actually gain the total financial freedom, you have to be like an investor, like a business owner, not somebody working 9-to-5.
Yes, but that doesn't happen overnight. You have to change your mindset.
So I think what Hala is trying to say is, if you're determined to be financially free, you must have it behind your mind that, okay, I want to set up my own business. I want to start my own, if I'm right, I want to start my own business. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just trying to see if I'm in the right path. You have to have it behind your mind that you want to set up your own business. You want to stand for yourself and do your thing. If I'm right.
Yes, you are. Do you want me to take the other one?
No, I haven't finished.
Okay, sorry.
It's not about the business, it's not about being an investor, but it starts with the individual.
Right.
Because the thing is, if you can't change the way you think, nobody can help you. So first and foremost, you have to say to yourself that I want to be financially free. It has to start with you, the individual, wanting to change. Because if you're not ready to change, we can't really help you.
Okay. So basically, you have to think like a business owner. You have to think like, I'm going to own it. I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to be like the chairman of a big establishment. I want to be an employer of labor. So that mindset has to be there.
Precisely.
Okay.
King David, I mean, it's one thing to have a mindset that, okay, I want to start something, I want to own something. But probably that individual doesn't have the capacity to do whatever. He might have the mindset, but he doesn't have the capacity to start a business. How do you guys come into that? How do people get to break through that kind of situation?
Okay, thanks. If I'm going to buttress what Hal just said, the key to financial freedom is financial education. Okay. Now, just like health education, we have simple health practices like washing your hands after you go to the restroom, and make sure you wash the fruit before you eat it. So we need, from when we're children, they educate us. Mathematics, moral education. So the sad thing is the Western education, the education we get in classrooms, we were not taught financial education. It was left out of the curriculum. So first step, to be able to do that is to you know, have access to financial education. You know, and once you now have access to financial education, then you would need a mentor. Okay, and who is a mentor? A mentor is someone who knows what you don't know, who has achieved what you're trying to achieve, who has in his possession what you would like to have. You know, so you need a mentor. You know, you need a tour guide. If you want to go to the safari park in Kenya, if you don't go with the tour guide, you get eaten by the lions.
Exactly.
So yeah, you need somebody to hold you by the hand. Okay, you need somebody to hold you by the hand. We didn't, you know, become financially free on our own by instinct. You know, it's not instinctive. You don't become by instinct. You need a financial mentor, and that's where the financial freedom seminar comes in.
When you say financial education, are you advising that financial education should be introduced into school curriculum? I mean, to teach people, you know, to be financially free
Okay.
from the early stage.
Well, yeah, it's quite interesting because one of our mentors, one of my main financial mentors, his name is called Robert Kiyosaki. He's an American businessman, and he wrote this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's what he's been advocating for years. You know, the Western education, we need to find a way to inculcate financial education into our schools. You know, but of course, it's fallen on deaf ears for years. So what you would have is a whole group of people, okay, you know, on an individual scale, okay, providing this financial education. So if the government does not do it, you know, we need to set up private individuals that would, you know, take on the task of, you know, financial education people through books, seminars, CDs, you know, one-to-one mentoring, which is what I've been doing for close to 7 years.
Okay, sir. When you, financial education, do you mean like, you know, educating people on how to invest, educating people on how to start a business, educating people on how to save money? You know, can you break it down a little bit?
Okay, I'll try my best. Now, it starts from the basics, like how I said, you know, it's the mindset. Okay, for instance, now my mentor, Robert Kiyosaki, said, poor people work for money. Rich people, money works for them. Okay, that's one of the basics. Okay, so how do I find a way that money can work for me? While I'm still working for money, there's nothing wrong with working for money. It's just better. Okay, there's nothing wrong with a Vauxhall, okay, to take it from point A to point B, but a Jaguar or Mercedes Benz, it's not better.
To make money for you.
Okay, so that's one key. Okay, mindset change. Okay, mindset change. Then also you should know that 9 to 5 is, you never become financially free.
Before you go from Vauxhall to Jaguar, let me just quickly tell our viewers who might be interested in calling into the program that the lines are actually open now, so you can call in to make your contribution to the topic of discussion. David and Howla will be here to answer all your questions. David, yeah, so go on and back to the Jaguar and the Vauxhall.
Okay, yeah. So that's one basic idea. Okay, one basic idea. You know, you have to find a way that money can work for you. Okay, you have to find a way that money can work for you. Now, another way is, now, for instance, financial freedom. It's in different shades. Now, if your outgoings is less than your income, for instance, we're not all going to be millionaires. You know, for instance, if your income was £5,000 a month, and your total outgoing was £3,000 every month, that means you have an extra £2,000. Okay, and if you have an extra £2,000 sitting in your bank account every single month, you're actually, you know, financially free.
But actually, there's this saying that says the more you earn, the more you spend. So really, the more money you have, the more responsibility, the more you know, the more expenses. So how do you?
The more you think about, getting not even a Jaguar now, you start to think about getting a helicopter.
Like, oh, exactly.
Or a private jet.
You know, so how do you balance that?
I think Howler's got a.
Okay, yeah.
You know what? We have to be able to differentiate between what is an asset and what is a liability.
Right.
And I'm going to explain what an asset is and what a liability is. An asset is something that brings you an income. And a liability is something that takes money away from you. Okay? So when your income is growing, draw a budget. What brings me income and what takes income away from me? Because if you have this at the back of our minds, we'll be able to manage our finances. Because let's say, for instance, you earn £5,000 a month, all right, and then you have, let's say, a Vauxhall. It's not time to buy a Jaguar yet, and then you go and buy a Jaguar.
I know,
That's
so
a liability. That's not an asset. That is taking money out of
Okay.
your pocket.
Yeah, but some people believe, without having that, that Jaguar.
But that is why we are here to tell them. So you've gone to buy a Jaguar, maybe on hard purchase, and every month £500 is coming out of your account. That is not an asset. That's a liability. That is money coming out of you.
I can argue that and go like, you only live once. I earn 5,000. I want to drive a Jaguar. I'm going to drive it whatever.
But that's entirely up to you.
Well, true.
Yeah, can I add something?
Please.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. It's a valid question, and I will give you some statistics. Okay. 98% of people on planet Earth are struggling financially. Only 2% of the entire world population is living a wealthy lifestyle. And one of the things that is responsible for this is habits. Okay, it's habits. Now, there's nothing wrong in driving a Jaguar. There's absolutely nothing wrong in getting a helicopter, a private jet. But you see, you have to make sure that it is necessary. Okay. If I'm making £100 million a year, yes, and my schedule is very busy. I'm sitting in an airport lounge. It's not good for my business. I need to be in a place. I need to be in New York this minute, next few hours. I need to be in Tokyo. Then I need a jet. Okay. So what you need to do, that's what we do. That's part of the financial education, because we teach people how to have the right habits. Okay. So you need to assess it. Do I really need it?
Yes.
Okay. Is the timing? Can my cash flow? Okay. Then, like you said, you're right. To some extent, you're right, because it depends on your career. If you're a celebrity, if you're a musician, in a certain professional career, that you have to look the part. Okay, you have to look. Even if you have to break the bank together, I do accept, but it's helping your status. Make you more popular.
That's making more money for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And building
It
your
can
image.
be. You can turn it into an
Yeah.
asset. That's only if you're a musician or a celebrity. But if you're just
a plumber or something.
Yeah, 9 to 5. You're earning maybe salary. It's not wise. It's not financially wise.
Okay, and I think that brings us to why you're holding that seminar. You've got a seminar planned for the 2nd of November 2013. That must be the reason why has prompted this seminar. Howler, can you share with us? I mean, what's the reason behind this seminar? And
As I said, we want to help individuals from living from paycheck to paycheck, i.e., escaping the rat race, and that can only be achieved through financial education. You see, quote and unquote, knowledge is power, and knowledge is the new money, if you say it, and that can only be achieved through financial education.
Okay, King David, you're going to be hosting that seminar. What are you going to be sharing with the participants who are going to be, coming into the seminar?
Okay, I would like to start with a Bible quote. It says, "Invest in 7 businesses." Because you don't know what disaster is going to come upon the land. Now, one of the things we're going to be sharing is teaching people, equipping people with the necessary skills that they need to start up businesses. And once these businesses start to give you a cash flow, because see, what people need is not money. What they need is a cash flow. That's why if you lodge, say, £50,000 in your bank account, it's not going to improve your credit score. The bank would rather have you have £1,000 coming in consistent. Okay. So when your cash income it outweighs your outgoings, then you're now starting to create a reservoir. Okay, a reserve. Okay. A reservoir, of cash flow. Okay, and that's when you can say, oh, you're worth this amount, 1 million, that's how they do it. Because what you find with more 98% of people in the world, because their outgoings are constantly more than their income, so they're always broke. Okay. Also, what we're going to be teaching is we're going to help equip people with the necessary skills to develop multiple streams of income. Okay. You need to have multiple streams of income, several incomes, money coming in from different angles. So the reason is, if something is wrong with one income, then we can fall back on the other income streams. For instance, I'd rather be earning £1,000 a month from 7 different sources than £7,000 from one source.
Wouldn't that put a strain on you as an individual? Because you're going to be working more hours or doing more jobs or jumping from one place to another.
Okay.
How do people cope with that?
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned something earlier. I said one of the key things we've learned and we teach is your ability to, learn how to make money work for you, and you're not working for money. That separates the poor and the rich. Now, for instance, there are a couple of franchises out there, where you could actually invest your money, and the money will be working for you. Now, I'm moving into franchising now. With one of the popular franchises, I'm not going to mention names. Okay.
We're not even going to allow you to mention names.
Yeah. Okay. One of the popular franchises, eateries, and it allows us to put money in the business, and we could actually be living in Bahamas, and the business will be running by itself. Okay. So you can actually, we'll show you, teach you how you can stretch your pounds. Okay. Get other people working for you. A classic example is Richard Branson. He doesn't know how to fly an aeroplane. He doesn't know how to drive a train. Other people are working. Even if he does know how to fly an aeroplane, he can't fly all the airplanes altogether.
Absolutely not.
And I was watching an interview and he was told, "Oh, Richard, how do you manage 300 companies?" I said, "Correction, I don't manage 300 companies. I own 300 companies, and I get managers to manage it for me. Okay, I give them shares in all the company. Okay, to promote ownership, so they won't have this feeling, the feel-good factor, and also allow them to make their mistakes. If they need me, they call me." He's one of the most relaxed billionaires. He's not a slave to money. I know a few millionaires that they're slaves to money. They're slaves to money, but they're not. He's so relaxed. So that's one of the several things we're going to be talking about in the segment.
Okay. I just have a thought now. What can you explain to me what the difference is between being financially free and financially independent?
They are interwoven.
It's like omelette and sunny side up. It's the same egg, but they're doing it in different ways. Now, financial independence and financial freedom. I think I'll be able to draw a line. Okay. Because from the word independence, that means you don't depend. That means your source of income doesn't depend on another person.
Right.
Okay. Now, with a day job, if you're doing 9 to 5, your source of income depends on your employer. You're the employee.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not financially independent. They could be paying you. Oh, let me give an example. I could be a celebrity superstar. Coca-Cola pays me £15 million to come and do an advert. Okay, to come and do an advert. Okay, that money can make me financially free. Okay, if I use it correctly, but I'm not financially independent because I'm dependent. I have to keep drinking, in public.
Yeah.
There are rules in the contract. So I have £15 million in my pocket, but I'm not independent. Do you get it? Because my income depends on Coca-Cola.
Yeah, maybe you have a contract maybe for a year or two.
Don't maybe have a 6 years, or a good one is the footballers.
Yeah.
They pay them serious money for your ability to make sure you are physically fit, you obey, the coach and everything.
Yeah.
But then, so if you're dependent, your income is still dependent. Okay. You see.
Fitness.
Yeah, it's still some footballers are. I'm not going to mention any names. They're rich, okay. But the people who pay their salaries, they are wealthy. Okay, they are wealthy. That's
so would you say those people that pay their salary? Would you say, because you mentioned now that they are super rich? Would you say they are financially free?
Okay, I wouldn't. What I do, the way we've been trained, in the as a financial analyst, is we're trained to look at income from 2 points of view. Because most people out there, the 98% of people in the world that are struggling financially, they've been trained to look at income from only 1 point of view, which is finances from income point of view. Oh, he earned £10 million last year. I've been trained to look at the expenditure point of view. Okay, so he earned 10 million, but he spent 50 million. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, he earned 10 million, but he spent 50 million. Okay, he's not financially free, he's in debt.
Serious one.
So you can see there are a lot of intrigue cases,
So the salary you earn does not actually make you to be financially free.
No.
On the outside, people look at you, oh, he's earning a lot of money, but they don't know what else you're using the money for.
But like she said, knowledge is the new money. Money doesn't make rich. 90% of people who win the lottery end up broke. But Richard Branson, he was penny bankrupt in the early 80s, and he rose out of bankruptcy and became a billionaire. Donald Trump, he lost $2 billion, and he paid back the $2 billion, and it's now worth over $7 billion because he has the know-how. That's the difference. He has the know-how. Okay.
Well, viewers, you're still watching Point Blank, and we just want to implore you to kind of call into the program and let's have your views about, how do you think you can be financially free, considering the fact that we've got a lot of global what's it called, financial difficulties going on around the world. The economy is not really buoyant everywhere in the world, and people are still struggling to meet up with their financial debts everywhere in the world. So please call in. We've got a guest here who can tell you or give you an advice on how you can be financially free?
Financially free.
Yeah.
Okay. Howard, this seminar that's going to be this seminar that's going to be holding, how do people get to participate, to come on to the seminar?
The seminar is holding on Saturday, the 2nd of November, and it's at Exeter Venue, Avonmouth House, 6 Avonmouth Street, Elephant and Castle, London, SE1 6NX. And one can get registered at www.financialfreedom.org/FTV. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, when you get registered, is it for a fee?
Yes.
Or is it free?
Yes. It's not free. It's just for £10. We are putting a fee on it because we've just come to realize that people never appreciate something when it's free. So we've just put £10 on it for a token, because if you really want to change your finances, £10 is nothing, really.
You just mentioned people don't appreciate things that are free. I beg to disagree that I think people jump at things that are free.
Can I?
Please.
Yeah, please.
Okay, the word is appreciate. Not that they don't go for it. I remember sometime in London, the Oyster card was free. Okay, and you see Oyster cards all over the floor. But now that it's £5, you can never see it. So that's what she meant.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, £10 to get registered and get some benefits of getting financial freedom. I think it's worth that.
It's a no-brainer, actually.
So I mean, King David, what else would you think will attract people to this seminar? Because we need to let people be aware of the seminar.
Well,
is it just to tell them about how they're going to be financially free? Some people who are already broke might not even think about it. Well, they say, well, I'm broke already. So,
well, there would always be. It's for the willing, really. Like if you call an airline and you ask for seats in economy, they'll tell you it's fully booked. But before you drop the phone, make sure you ask about first class. There's always space in first class. So, it's always for the willing, people who really want to acquire new skills, and improve the quality of their lifestyle. And I also encourage parents, if they don't have any reason to do this, they should do it for their children. Do it for their children so they can give their children a better lifestyle.
For an unemployed person.
I need to backtrack a second.
Okay. Sorry.
Being broke is a temporal thing.
Right.
Poverty is eternal. Poverty is a state of the mind, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're broke today, tomorrow you might not be broke. Now the question I want to put to viewers is, let's say you go, I don't preempt for something bad to happen to any of us, but let's say your child is diagnosed with a terminally ill disease, and you need to get some funds, maybe about £2,000, £3,000 for your child before the child can be well. You will go to any length to get that money, isn't it?
True.
So, when it comes to our finances, why can't we adopt the same attitude? As if that is the last thing we have to do. Because it's not for you, it's for your generations unborn. And the Bible says a good man leaves inheritance for his children.
Well, they say money doesn't make people rich. Knowledge makes people rich. So you're going to be impacting knowledge on that day.
Yeah.
Who are the target audience?
Target audience are people who starting up their life very early. People who are tired of the 9-to-5 roller coaster. Okay, they're just tired of that. Middle-aged people who are not certain about their pensions. Whether the pension is going to be able to give them a good quality retirement life. Okay? Pretty much everybody, from straight out of university to somebody who's almost, in their 50s, 55. Anybody who would love to improve their financial situation.
What about people who are, say, in their 70s and are still making money, are still willing to make money? Can they also come on board?
Yes, of course. Like Howler mentioned, I came across a couple and they said they're okay, but they're trying to work to make some money for their grandchildren. The other day I was watching a program on TV and a guy went to an auction and went to buy a house for his grandson. So it's a very noble thing to do because we have to keep. We should always think about the next generation. It's not good to be selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should always think about the next generation. So yeah, so why not? If you're 70 and you're still strong and you're willing to, have the best last few years of your life, then you're also welcome.
I mean, Success Academy. What's the plan for the future? Apart from this seminar that's holding, what's the plan for the future? Are you planning to introduce, you mentioned earlier on that you need to start to, try to go into the school curriculum and start to train the younger ones how to be financially independent or financially free as well. Are you looking to do things like that in the future? Go into schools and do some training there as well?
Yeah, because I've actually had the privilege of sitting with the founder of this whole idea, and he has great vision for Success Academy, and we're going to be building, an educational system, an educational system that would actually be, we're going to set up an educational system for teenagers, young adults, for people who are preparing for their pension. And this can take different forms, primarily through books. Of course, we're going to be setting up sometime in the future schools, financial, success academy, schools where people can actually come in, like summer camp. When kids are on summer holiday, they can actually engage themselves and acquire skills, that'll set them free financially. So it's there's no limits to what we can achieve, really, because I've benefited from a financial education system. Okay, if there was no financial education system in place that I benefited from, I would not be here today. So somebody thought good, not only to become financially free, but also equip people like us. So we're gonna, take it to the next step, which is to make financial education more accessible, to the people, and continue to create more awareness, of this financial education system, which we are going to be making available.
I mean, through the conversation, I've noticed that we've not touched, the majority of people, because if we look at it, many people, over 50% of people all over the world are in financial difficulty.
Yes.
But we have not, because I've actually just got somebody who's just sent me a text to say, the average people, we're not looking at this topic, to deal with the average people. What he meant, I don't understand.
Okay.
It might make some sense to you as a financial person.
Was that what you wrote literally?
He said, let's be real and talk about the average people.
Okay.
Probably those who, I don't know, maybe it's those who earn less income or
low income. High, middle, or low.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we do cater. Actually, we were focusing really on the low income earners and the average people. Okay, because on the more sense, they're the people that need the help the most. Okay, so yeah, over the last, I've been working closely with Allah for years now, close to 5 years or more, and we've been helping most. 90% of people we've been working with and empowering that low income earners and average income earners.
So how would you?
I just want to buttress a point. I just want to buttress what David is saying. I think we want to cater for everybody at the grassroots. Really, it's the willingness, and if the person wants to be coachable. Do you understand? Because, for instance, if you want to learn to be, let's say, if you want to learn to do hair, you go to a hairdressing school, isn't it? If you want to be a medical doctor, you go to a medical school, isn't it? Because sometimes in the course of our journey, you know, we've come across professionals, and you know, because they think they're professionals, they know it all. You tell them to do something and then they do it the other way, and then they don't get results. So it's all about having the heart to learn and to be coachable. So we really want to cater for the grassroots.
Okay.
It's about the willingness for the person to be coachable, really.
Okay. So it's got one more question to ask.
Well, basically, I just want to add that for the unemployed, I think, or if like there's an unemployed person with
Okay.
no source of income at all,
Okay.
and there's no money, no savings, nothing in the bank,
Yep.
I don't know, how do you interest such a person?
I think David will come to that, but I
Okay.
think we've got a caller on the line now. Good evening, caller. Thanks for calling into Point Blank. Can we know your name and where you're calling from?
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us. Can we know your name and where you're calling from?
My name is John.
Hello, John.
Hello. Yes, I wanted to know, would there be mentorship? You know, when you come to a financial event like this, would there be somebody to mentor you, to show you the ropes around, or we just come in there, we go home empty-handed? I wanted to ask that question because I'm interested in coming.
Okay.
Do you want to take it?
Yes. Yes, there will be hands-on, mentoring, and that's the whole point. It's not just about attending the seminar. It's also about, connecting, with the people, because we have skilled persons that are skilled in leadership and mentoring people. So yes, you will be getting quality, world-class mentoring by one of the best in the industry. Yes, definitely, John, you would be getting hands-on mentoring. We're not just going to come in and do the seminar and let you people go. There will be definitely, for those that are interested, obviously, there will be hands-on mentoring.
Okay.
And we would also be conducting bi-weekly webinars
Right.
for our students, just to monitor their progress and see how they are getting on, because feedback is very important to us.
Okay. John, I think, does that answer your question?
Yes, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for...
I really appreciate the program. It's an educated and informative program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thanks
much,
for
John.
calling.
Thank you.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Right. Actually, that actually answers my question, because I was going to ask, how to interest an unemployed person with no source of income and no savings in the bank, because obviously, if I see like a seminar, and the person is just going to be like, of what use would it be to me, even if I
think we've got another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Thanks for joining us on Point Blank. Can we know your name and where you're calling from? Hello, caller. I think we've lost that call. If you're the last caller, please can you kindly call back into the program? Thank you.
Can I?
Yeah, I think you just answered the question, because obviously you asked about mentoring. I'm just trying to find out if there's like a package or something in place for participants, you understand, to interest them and actually want to attend the seminar. Unemployed ones,
Okay.
as in zero level.
I understand. Can I take that?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I'll take that one. Now, again, talking about financial education. Now, the novice, you think of capital as money. That's the novice. But like we've been trained in the financial world, time is money. Okay? So we would teach you how you can actually put your 24 hours to use, okay, and use that to convert your time into cash.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the business world, we have goods and services. Okay, some people do volunteer work during the holiday, and you know, and they get good recommendation on their CV, you know, you could actually, we're going to be equipping you how you can convert time into money, your services, unless you are paralyzed from neck down, you know, but even if you can blink,
you can still use,
your eyelids,
your brain,
it's your time, you know. This is the new money. Knowledge is the new money. You know, how you can use your time. Now, you're unemployed, you don't have a dime in the bank. As a matter of fact, you are about £7,000 overdrawn. How you can get out of the, you know, because that's an interesting thing, because that's one of the things we're going to be really touching on. I have a list here. You know, it says, during the seminar, you're going to be learning the secret the rich use to get richer, that 11 learned in schools. Strategies to create. The word create means to bring something out of nothing, isn't it? Create major cash flow outside your job. Okay? Now, and how to fund your investment using other people's money, OPM. Okay? Then there's the 5 unfair advantages you can use in any economy.
When you say fund your investments using other people's money,
Okay?
can you expatiate on that?
Yeah, that's what shareholders are doing. You know, we have Fortune 500 companies, blue chip companies, mega companies on this New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange. You know, they use other people's money to fund the investments. The banks, you know, they use other people's money to fund their investments.
Why I asked the question, because some people might think it's just might just want to go and start robbing people and getting their money.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a valid concern, but the word is to fund your investment, okay, and to give them a return, okay. So one of the things we're going to be talking about is how to invest in the stock market. I have, I'm not mentioning names, you know, there's a gentleman, that's what he does. You know, he was actually flat penniless broke 9 years ago, you know, and he got some financial education and he started trading, and he was able to return all, you know, the money that was given to him. Now he's a multi-millionaire actually, has about 14 properties. You know, so you can actually leverage your time, okay, leverage your time plus people's money. Now when you pay back whoever's, you know, invested in you, then you can now use your money to build your business. You get what I mean? Okay, because Richard Branson borrowed bank money. We all put money in the bank, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's that money that they borrowed him, loaned him, and he's used it to build an empire.
So do you think Richard Branson is financially free as well?
From the parameters,
considering all the investment he's got.
Yes, if I put it side by side by the parameters of financial freedom, yeah, I would say he is. Some billionaires are not financially free. You'll be shocked.
I was going to say that.
Some millionaires and billionaires, they're not financially free. Why? Because they're a slave to their money.
And bad habits.
Yeah, I know a billionaire. He has to fly in from anywhere in the world to sign every single contract. And he has to be there when they're employing every single staff. You see, what I've found in my journey in this financial world is I've come across a lot of people who are money rich and time poor. Remember, time is an essential ingredient in financial freedom. So they're money rich and they're time poor.
I'm the reverse.
Yeah,
I'm time rich but financially poor.
Yeah, so that's why you need to come to the seminar.
I will be there.
So because we can teach you how you can actually engage your 24 hours, maximize your 24 hours.
I actually like converting your time to services. Like for the unemployed, I think that is the key. That is a very key, valid point, and that is something that the unemployed needs to hold on to. Yeah. You know, converting your time to services, and the services can eventually work for you.
Yeah, bringing money.
And bringing money for you. You know, that's a very good and valid point. Okay, we'll be there.
So I mean, for viewers who are watching, this is a must not miss seminar. If you really want to be financially free, I'm sure every one of us will want to be financially free. I want to be financially free. I don't know about yourself, but I'm going to be there. So keep a date with them. It's on the, what date again? It's on the
2nd
2nd of November.
Saturday.
So you can put in the diary and make sure you attend that seminar for us all to start to smile and be financially free.
I'm going to be there as well. Can't wait.
So, I mean, what's your final word? What's your final word? Howler?
As we said, if you want to take control of your finances, this seminar is a must attend. You can either make money, you can come and have the right financial education and be financially free, or you can make excuses. You know, what I've come to realize is, you know, we all want to be financially free, we all want to drive in our dream cars, we all want to go to the best schools, we all want to live the life of our dreams. But the truth of the matter is, are you ready to pay the price? Most people are not ready to pay the price. So if you really want to pay the price, be among the few, select few, and come. Just go to www.financialseminar.org/FTV and register. You've got nothing to lose, really. You've got more to gain.
So who's on the final? Let me before we round up, I want to find out who are the people who are qualified. Do you have to have it? Who are qualified to attend the seminar? You said everyone.
Yeah, it's anyone who has a burning desire. Okay, anyone who has a burning desire, passion to go somewhere, to be somebody. You know, to go somewhere, to be somebody, to feel good about yourself. Because poverty lowers people's self-esteem. It does, trust me. Now, yeah, if it's just for your self-esteem, you know, and I can't begin to explain what self-esteem, healthy self-esteem will do for you. Okay, so yeah, pretty much everyone really, and like you said, everyone is welcome. You know, 70, 50, 35. You're unemployed, you broke, you're
Just before
dead.
we go, I think we've got another caller on the line. Good evening, caller. Can we know where you're calling from and your name, please?
I'm calling from Barking.
From Barking. Thanks for joining us on Point Blank. Can we have your contribution?
Yeah, I just want to know, is it financial trading or is it financial franchising? Because I heard David say that you owe some franchising, and I'm not sure which one it is. I just want to know whether it's financial trading that you train people to have a skill, or is it just putting your money in somebody's business?
Okay, if I heard you properly, what I meant by, you know, because there was a question by one of the moderators, and he said by creating multiple streams of income, because I said, well, one of the things we're going to be teaching at the seminar is to teach you how to create multiple streams of income. Then the question was, it's not going to put too much pressure on the person. You know, you get to work more hours, and that's why, you know, use that example that you could actually leverage your money. You don't necessarily have to be. But also at the seminar, we will be teaching you, because this life is a trade. You know, the whole world. You know, I mean, you're either trading your time for money, your services for money, your skills for money. You know, and there's the stock market as well. You know, where you can learn how to trade. You know. So at the seminar, we're going to be teaching you the rudiments of trading. Okay, because everybody is trading. Everybody, you're either trading your time, or trading your energy, trading one way or the other. You know, so we're gonna, because I'm avoiding, you know, going into details. You know, so, you know, and if you heard earlier, I read out from a whole list of things that we're going to be teaching at the seminar. And
okay.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling into the program.
Yeah, definitely. Can I also say, is it Howler? She keeps with the website. Is it www.financialfreedomseminar, or is it www.freedomseminar?
Financialfreedomseminar.org/FTV.
Oh. Thank you so much. I
That's-
will be coming.
That's the web address that's been shown on the screen. So you can just take that down. It's www.financialfreedomseminar.org/FTV.
Thank you very much. I think this is very educative, and I'll be coming. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm sure many people will be coming to that seminar because obviously I want to be financially free. So
I want
to
to
be that. You know, to come and learn how I'm going to be financially free. So I'm imploring you, if you want to be financially free, make sure you make it a date to attend that seminar. It's a must not miss event. Well, I really want to thank you very much for coming on the program to share your experience with us, to tell us about how we can be financially free. Thanks for calling again,
Yeah,
King David. Before we round up, I just want to find out, what is King David? Why do they call you King David?
Oh,
I don't want to leave without, so many people are going to be asking that question.
Actually, the word king is ascribed to rulership, so, taking control of a territory.
You must be financially free now.
The first thing I've done is take control of my finances. So I'm a king in my own castle. I'm a king in my own castle. That's where the word King David comes from. Because every single man or woman is a king or a queen.
In our own castle. Yeah,
in our own castle, But then you need to own the castle. Because if you're renting, the landlord is the king. If you have a mortgage, the mortgage broker, the banks, they're the king. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So it's more of being, taking control of it.
You're not a queen yet? Or you're just hiding that?
No, I
don't
want to be
disclose.
simple. My name is, it's fine.
All right. By November, come November 2nd, yeah? Is that the date?
Yes.
By November 2nd, I'm going
Take
to
a note of that
I'm
in your
going to be
diaries.
I'm going to be a king.
Same here.
I'm going to teach you how to become a king.
I can't wait to be financially free. Seriously. Sorry.
Viewers, I hope you have sincerely enjoyed the program. I'm sure you've learned one or two things from this program. And I want to implore you once again to please make it a date on the 2nd of November to attend that seminar. Before we round up, I just want to say a very big thank you to our sponsor, Broadway Restaurant. Broadway Restaurants are specialists in Afro-Caribbean food. So, I mean, if you're looking for anywhere to relax and have a good meal, Broadway Restaurant is where to be. And that's about it. We're going to be having a point blank tonight. We do sincerely thank you for joining us. And we'll be back same time next week. Till then, it's good night.